Madam Deputy Speaker, and on behalf of our benchers, can I just take a minute to pay tribute to my new colleague. I have the unenviable task of following what was a truly beautiful maiden speech, and just to say how much I'm looking forward to working alongside her in the months and years to come. And like her, I wanted to speak about my constituency today. I represent one of two constituencies which make up Calderdale, and nowhere do we feel extreme weather more acutely than in Calderdale. The Calder Valley and Halifax constituencies experienced fairly catastrophic flooding in the 2015 Boxing Day floods, which affected 2,720 residential properties and 1,650 businesses. And we were very lucky in March of this year to have not sustained more damage following a period of exceptionally heavy rainfall, which pushed flood defences to the limit. One of the most serious and immediate consequences of climate change are more frequent and extreme weather events, and this is a very real and terrifying prospect for us locally. One element of the response to such dangers worthy of mention has been the work of Calderdale's Slow the Flow volunteers, whose natural flood management work up and down the Calder Valley took the force out of the rainwater as it made its way down our steep slopes and made a significant difference during the periods of greatest intensity during the March near-miss rains. Natural flood management not only contributes to a degree of protection from excess water, but does so through greater and more responsible stewardship of our natural environment. I'm pleased to say that the Labour-run Calderdale Council is already ahead of the game on climate change, having declared a climate emergency in January in response to the warning from the UN's panel on climate change that there are just 12 years left to limit global warming. Calderdale Council has succeeded in cutting its own CO2 emissions by 35% and the boroughs by 26%. Although Calderdale is on track to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 40% by 2020, we know that this is not enough. Further action will be needed if we are to deliver the sort of reductions which are necessary to keep global temperature rises below 1.5 degrees C. There are another two pressures in particular across Calderdale which bring this global challenge to our doorsteps. The first, like in so many other parts of the country, is air quality. We have 7 designated air quality management areas in Calderdale where monitoring indicates an exceedance of the annual mean objective for nitrogen dioxide. The most recent figures from Public Health England show that deaths from respiratory conditions are significantly higher in Calderdale compared with the national average, and whilst there are a number of reasons for that, poor air quality is a significant factor. I'm pleased to say that Calderdale has responded with a comprehensive air action plan, with a view to declaring Sawbury Bridge, one of our worst affected areas, a low-emissions neighbourhood. The plan prioritises the promotion of ultra-low emissions vehicles and public transport, alongside walking and cycling, as well as promoting the clean-up of public transport fleets. Calderdale Council is also currently defending its decision to reject an application to build an incinerator in the area at public inquiry, and in the interest of air quality, I have made my views on this issue very clear. The launch of the Electric Valley Petition is another initiative building on the work of Halifax and District Rail Action Group's Electric Charter, setting out the benefits of electrification of the Calder Valley line. If we are to take vehicles off the road and ask more people to use public transport, then electrification is a win-win. The Calder Valley line connecting Manchester and Leeds through Halifax has not only been plagued with problems in recent months, but it is a dirty route. We can improve the journey and clean it up at the same time with electrification. It was the top recommendation of the Northern Electrification Task Force Northern Sparks report 4 years ago, so I very much hope that the Department for Transport is watching the debate today and revisits that report. But the final threat I want to raise today is wildfire. Heat waves have resulted in an increased frequency of wildfires on Pennine Moorland. The Pennine Moors, covering Kirklees, Calderdale and parts of Bradford, include triple SIs and special areas of conservation. Moorland areas are instrumental in storing CO2, and it's estimated that Britain's peat bogs store the equivalent of 10 times the country's CO2 emissions. When these peat bogs are damaged by pollution or indeed wildfire, they start to leak CO2 instead of storing it, and we're seeing this happen more and more often, with 2 blazes on Saddleworth Moor in the last 18 months and a fire on Ilkley Moor just 2 weeks ago. It's far too easy to think that this is a problem for someone else, somewhere else, or for the next generation to solve. Calderdale Council have taken their responsibilities incredibly seriously, but they need holistic government support in delivering a carbon-neutral future. But I hope in sharing these examples of how climate change is on our doorstep in Calderdale every single day, it can help motivate us all to action.
Sir Oliver Letwin.
Thank you, and Deputy Speaker. I just want to make 3 very brief points, which I hope don't repeat anything been said so far. The first relates to the tone of this debate and the nature of it.